All right, I think it'd be great to get started and people might continue to join. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for the EMCR Brain Science Network Committee's Jobs Outside the Bubble webinar. Now, this is our first webinar of the series to run in 2026, and it's our sixth overall Outside the Bubble webinar. So before we get into the proceedings for today, in the spirit of reconciliation, the Brain Science Network acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. And we pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging, and we extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today, and those joining this event. So again, a warm welcome to our sixth Outside the Bubble series. This series comes to you from the EMCR Brain Science Network, which is aligned with the Australian Brain Alliance. And the aim of this group is to establish a platform for brain science EMCRs, early and mid-career researchers, to develop into future research and drive Australian brain science forward. I'll just briefly share. So you can connect with us on our website and also our LinkedIn page, and we'll talk a bit more about that at the end.
So good morning, everyone. Thank you again for joining us this morning. My name's Helena. I'm a senior lecturer in psychology at the Charles Darwin University. We are very privileged to have you today and also to have Dr. Suman Ghosh, senior researcher, IMED Radiology Network as our panelist today. Dr. Ghosh completed his PhD in machine learning and neuroimaging at the University of Queensland in 2024. His doctoral research focused on developing machine learning and deep learning approaches for brain MRI analysis, with applications in neurodegenerative and neurological disorders. Suman now works outside academia as a senior researcher at IMED Radiology Network, where he applies advanced analytics and clinical radiology data to generate actionable insights for occupational lung disease research and healthcare applications.
Thank you, Helena. We also had expected to have Dr. Tara Spokes with us today. Unfortunately, Tara is not able to attend today's session, but we hope to be able to connect with her at another time. So apologies for that change, but we're going to go ahead and hear about Dr. Suman Ghosh's experience. So throughout this rest of the session, we'll be having a Q&A between myself and Helena and Suman. We'll also love to hear questions from yourself as we go through the talk, because you may have questions to follow up about someone's experience leaving academia and current role. So we'll keep an eye out for that, and there'll be some opportunity at the end for more questions, but please continue to put them through as we go. We will read out the questions anonymously. I'll just back up a bit and introduce myself. So I'm Louisa, and I am a research fellow in the School of Psychological Sciences at Monash University in Melbourne. I also work as a clinical neuropsychologist in a separate role. So if anyone had any questions about that, I would be happy to do so as well, and similarly with Helena and her institution.
Thank you. Suman, this is my first question to you. Would you please tell us how you got to your current position? What were you doing within academia, and what are you doing now?
Yeah. First, thank you very much for your kind introduction and for the invitation, for sharing my experience, and good morning to all of the attendees. So yeah, so how the question is like how I got the job. Yeah. So basically, I did my PhD in machine learning and neuroimaging. So where mostly focus on learning the brain MRI analysis, developing some machine learning based tool which actually help for some diagnosis. So those skill set basically is in terms of research, but for that project actually I my PhD was actually end-to-end retrospective study. So what that mean is like I started with a write a ethics proposal, because when you are developing some model or using some human data is very sensitive, so you need ethics. So to understand like how to write ethics, how to apply, got approval, and after that you got access, how you get the access, how you do the. So I think this sort of skill basically helped me to understand more like translational research. And I think when I got the opportunity to see that like I made a radiological network job advertisement, and I saw is like massively overlapping with my skill set. And I think that's why that's the move, like, and after that, yeah, I
Yeah,
pursued the interview and all the things. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
Yes.
So can you tell us, like in a day or a week in your current role, how does it look like?
Yeah, is quite diverse. So like yeah, suppose I'm summarizing as a week. So yeah, I do like day to day basis data analysis. Many times I spend to I already mentioned, because these are clinical research and human data. So a lot of the time I spend to make the data de-identification. That's pretty much important because we have many stakeholders. Sometimes we need to send the data or share the information outside the organization. So is very sensitive. So I spend a lot of time for data de-identification, analyzing, in-house analyzing, lot of time for I think teamwork, like collaboration. So with different stakeholder, like communicating with each other. And also a lot of time is I spend for statistical analysis. Those are, some writing, revising of the. So it's kind of end to end. So it's not like that this week I will just work in one topic. So most of the time just need to work on all the aspect of the research, which actually cover the end to end deliverable research.
Thank you. So the next question, I would like to know what factors influence your decision to leave academia?
Okay, so okay, first thing is like I want to clarify, leaving the academia, it's not mean that leaving the research. So I'm still
Mm,
doing the research, but what like factor trigger me, because I told you like I work on retrospective clinical data. So I saw immense, like huge, applicability on the real life, and I really want to see like whatever research I'm doing, that can be reflect to the society, or at least visible, that people, it's not like that I develop some model, just publish the paper and end there, because I want that should be a starting point. Can we
mm,
go further and we can. So I think that's how I started thinking, and definitely I also want to experience bit of industry setup, how they organize. So I think that's that's the main triggering factor for me to look for the industry job.
yeah, thank you. So it looks like you're continuing to do research. And I'm interested, was there any hangover from your academic role, such as research papers, students, and projects?
Uh, I don't know, I should say this one as a hangover or not, but I think definitely I have few manuscript pending, and also few of the collaborative projects are pending. But yeah, so it's like it's not like that I'm doing those things forcefully. So normally what I did, like when I leave the previous job, or the, so like we should have a plan, like how we gonna do realistically. So yeah, still I have something, but I'm very happy to continue those as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I think some people here in the audience may have this question too. Do you have any recommendations for how to leave well? How did you manage students, projects, etc. when you're leaving your academic role and to move to your current role?
Yeah, so I think okay, so in terms of technical stuff, if I say like if you are really planning to leaving academia, a first recommendation is try to finish your work as much as possible. Like particularly in terms of manuscript, all the things, at least submit your first draft and then leave, so those are the pretty much important stuff, and make sure that when you leaving, like take some time, not like very hurry, like in a 15 days you have to leave, and take some time and try to make a nice documentation. And if you are writing code, make sure that code is very much organized, because is not only like that's not only a individual component, because that we are doing the research to progress the field, right? And if you not package those things in a nice way that a next person can start from there, then the research actually is mostly wasted, right? So I think that's pretty much important. When you planning to leave, make a very nice documentation, very nice code, and so that's pretty much important. And if you have a manuscript, please try to submit. I think that's one of the important aspect of living. And other thing is like always maintain good relationship with your previous community, because it's also a like have lot of opportunity to in future also collaboration. So just keep in mind that also, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So my last question is, what support did you receive from your supervisors and or managers to transit to your current role?
Yeah. Means I'm really lucky about that. When I got this opportunity, like I had a chat with my that time current supervisor, and he is very supportive. He understand that, and he understand that that's gonna be really nice move for my career. And but he was very happy because at least this is a research role, and means I can use my existing skill set. So I think he was very happy, and he given a nice recommendation also. So that's
Yeah,
great for me actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to hand over to Louisa. Thank you.
Thank you, Helena. So just picking up on a little bit more of an insight into how your work is, we did have a question in the chat. They just want to hear, I think, a bit more about, could you just explain again what was your immediate previous academic role specifically, and what's your current role? So in terms of what's the position called and what was your main focus?
Yeah. So like what my previous role was like, and what currently I'm doing, you are asking that, right?
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
specifically like the role title,
Yeah,
immediately and then
yeah,
up.
I think I can give very crisp answer for that. So, particularly for my last role, because that time I was working as a postdoc. So, a good thing like it's a too scientific problem. So, my focus is most of the time to focus in a particular problem, like deep dive, to developing some technology or some tools. So 99% time I spend for that. I'll say like most of the time developing the stuff, more the only the scientific innovation. But my current role is I have that one scientific innovation, but it's now diverse, like maybe 25% scientific innovation, 25% all the ethical part, all the 25% maybe communication part and reporting manuscript. So now it's more like diverse. So and previously more like scientific driven. So
Okay.
bit difference than uh, previously. It's not like
Mm.
that these things we not used to do in the academia, but I think in academia we always try to find really some good science. So that's why most of the time is for scientific critical thinking, I'll say. But here like uh, yeah, need to spend
So
the
your role title would
time.
have been your postdoctoral researcher and now you're senior researcher. So those might sound a bit similar, but the actual day-to-day looks quite
Yeah,
different in the
day-to-day life,
industry,
yeah, bit change because
in your
here it's like
responsibility.
full responsibility of the project, and yeah, so
And I think just reflecting on that, it might also depend on you might have an academic role that is having a lot of those other components too,
yeah, yeah.
or an industry role that is more focused on
Yeah. I just want to add one thing. Actually, during my PhD, I spent quite a bit time like that because they are like, yeah, I told like I write the ethics approval, I
mm,
consult with patient, everything I did. So yeah, so quite similar also. So yeah, it actually depends on like what type of project you are working in your academia. I think that's but I
mm.
think in industry, pretty much this is similar. You have to involve in many,
Yeah,
many.
many things. And
Yeah,
I just want to pick up on that. So I guess the picture was in your immediate previous academic role, you were quite focused on a particular topic and area, and now it's
yeah.
more diverse. So how is it decided which projects you'll be involved in your current role? Who decides, what you'll be
Okay,
involved in and when?
that's basically, that's basically based on your skill set. So but definitely when you got hired, they have something keep in mind that which project is suitable for you. But I think and when you start working, your manager, like we
Mhm.
have a hierarchy, right? Your manager and manager of manager. So how you thought. So they normally try to make a cluster of similar project, which is, so slowly you get involved in that area of research. So suppose I did my PhD, postdoc, everything in neuroimaging, but here I started working as a occupational lung disease. So here I need to deal lot of with HSCT, means CT scan, X-ray scan. So because I have a experience of dealing with medical imaging, I feel like the project more associated with imaging that's slowly, coming to me, and I'm getting involved with those. I think based on
Hmm.
your experience and, slowly they will like expose you to the similar project.
Right. So you're part of obviously a larger group of people, and the higher level managers are looking at allocation
Yeah.
according to skills and according to, I guess, the demands of what's happening with different projects.
Yeah, because
Mm,
as a industry or entity, suppose I mean they have plenty of research project and many people working. So I think that's how they manage. But
mm.
the allocation is really suitable. I think I don't up to now whatever experience I have is really nice. I feel like I'm enjoying those stuff to do whatever.
Oh, great. And I guess yeah, we've heard a good insight into some of the projects and type of work you're doing. I'm wondering about sort of the interpersonal or the group environment. So I know in the academic sense, you would have like lab meetings, and then you would have meetings with your direct lab manager or supervisor, and then maybe team meetings for, a certain project. How does that play out in your day, and what types of meetings and interactions are you
Yeah.
having?
So I think. Okay, so meeting is always there because we have many stakeholder. But so if you think in terms of like compare, if you want to compare with academics meetings sometimes are very broad. Like you can seek for some new information, new learning. But here is not that type of things. Here is you are mostly interacting with people, those who are more somehow collaborated with you. You can interact with anyone, but day-to-day basis. So those things basically yeah. So one more thing is like here. One more difference, I think, like in the research, whatever I have experienced, PhD, postdoc, we not really collaborative. Like we have some idea collaboration, but
Mhm.
not like multiple people working on the same project and progressing the things. I think in
Right.
industry, that's I think one of the big thing. So it's a team sport. So it's
Mhm.
truly team sport. It's not like whatever you are doing, that's actually, helping the project to progress. Actually, many other stakeholders, they also parallelly working based on the suitable skill set. So I think the interaction is regarding that. Suppose I send some module to someone, and they maybe have some questions, or they may be some forth and back. So this type of collaboration we have.
Mm.
And I'll say, like, good thing, one good thing I like. So my team is quite diverse, like, quite how I'll say, like, in different location. So few of them here in Brisbane, few in Sydney, few in Melbourne. So mostly this type of meeting we do in teams. Okay. So good thing, like, normally we don't like put a placeholder, because it's not like a weekly meeting, because sometimes we no need of chat. But whenever we need, just message directly, and very quickly we got a response, and very
Right.
quickly solve. So I feel, though the team is in different place, but I feel like even it is faster than physical teammates. So that's a
Oh,
nice experience
interesting.
for me, actually.
Right. So I really see that difference in academia. You might have your own project that you're responsible and you're driving
Yeah.
it. Whereas here, it's really a team, like everyone is working on that
Collaborate. Yeah.
project together, and
Yeah.
it's not one person's only
Yeah.
responsibility. It makes a lot of
I,
sense. Yeah, that's
yeah,
very,
like,
reflection.
suppose, everyone have a very expertise and very efficient on some part. So suppose
Mhm.
whatever I'm very efficient, I'm also helping to other project to do that part. So that,
Right.
I think, is faster space. You can see the really, the progress is happening. So yeah.
Right. And thank you so much for these points in the chat, which I'll start reflecting on now. And we'll start talking a bit about the skill set that you've brought
Yeah.
across in academia. But just before that, there was a question about whether, in academia, publications are very important. Um, so would you say it's the same for your particular role outside? Like, did you feel that your publications were an important part of being competitive for this new role?
Uh, in industry, publication is a, like, byproduct, not the main things. They also encourage very much,
Mhm.
we do all sort of things, even we go conference. But I think main thing is the deliverable product.
Okay.
So here, good thing is you have a very firm problem statement, and what you are doing is not, you're not deviating too much. Not all the time this is good, actually, because in academia, that's the good space, like, you are exploring the new stuff. But here, good thing is, like, very feasible and doable. You have a project aim, and you are on time, you try to complete that. I think that's the main important. But definitely, they encourage very much for publication, everything. So I'll say,
Mhm.
like, that's a byproduct, not the
Mhm.
like, main focus, I'll say.
Okay, so the key focus is those tangible outcomes according to
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
timelines, but
Because
yeah.
that's the, in, suppose we, at the moment, what I'm doing, I'm doing a analysis where like, research study, basically, where I want to show that HSCT is really helping improve assessment system for occupational lung disease, those who are, like, dust exposure, you
Hmm.
know. So, because, so why we need this type of study, like, if you want to include in a treatment pipeline, suppose, which cover from the government. So then we need to see, like, this modality or this technology really helping or improving the existing state of the art treatment pipeline, right? So there, basically, we organizing those type of research, and showing that, okay, you see, this is that much improvement is happening. So then only they can apply for, to the government. Okay, please add this modality to the current treatment pipeline. So that is
Right.
more important than the get the paper. But with this evidence, we got the paper. But I think,
Mm. But yeah, it was the outcome that you needed to
yeah,
show,
yeah,
yes,
I think,
as a primary,
yeah,
point of outcome.
yeah.
Great. Thank you for that. And now I'd like to reflect a bit about your skills. So you would have built a number of skills across your PhD and your postdoctoral work in your academic role. And so, what skills from academia have you found to be the most useful coming into your new industry role?
Yeah, so I think I was very lucky that I got that I mentioned already. I got really diverse experience in my PhD. So basically, my PhD was looks like end-to-end research. So end-to-end
Mhm.
research means I told like we define the problem statement, we apply for ethics, we got the ethics approval, and with this ethics approval, we collaborated with hospital, we got the all the legals, and
Mhm.
we got the access, and after access also how you will get the data, how will transfer the data. Those are the huge learning. When I did those, I really didn't understand the importance, honestly.
Okay.
That time I was more focused on building machine learning model, because that's the scientific problem for me,
Mhm.
and that gonna give me the paper, honestly. That's why I was more focused on that. But but those are the pretty much important skills. So get the data, do the analysis, all the things, whatever model you develop, and writing the paper. But I think in industry, though, this skill set, actually the diversify skill set is really useful. And also because of those things, I have a really good communication with clinician, radiologists. I think those things is pretty much important. And day-to-day life here in IMED, I'm doing the same, actually. Most of the time need to apply for ethics, accessing the data, really critical thinking, that no way you can reveal some individual information. So that's the most critical things. So I think I got bit of training in my PhD about that. So that's really, so when I started my working, actually, I saw most of the skill set. At least I have some initial idea. So
Right.
my
So
yeah
you found that it was particularly a lot of the additional, or what we might call soft skills or diverse
yeah
skills
soft
in
skill, yeah.
communication, in understanding ethical principles and confidentiality,
Yes, yeah.
and those kind of things. Because the question here about, would you say that transition relies more on technical skills, for example, neuroimaging, or more soft skills, or maybe it's a bit of both? When you
I
did your
think
interviews, yeah, did that come out? Were they asking a lot about your technical skills or your other skills, or what was your experience?
uh I think is again is depends on the project, but I think they gonna, so yeah, in industry again, I think I'm repeating the same thing. In
Mm.
industry, truly teamwork.
Yeah.
So I think they really see that one in the interview. I
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you understand. They not really focus. Definitely, they want to know like the technical stuff, you are able to do that, but
Mm.
it's not like that how depth knowledge you have. Then
Right.
understand, okay, you can do that. Okay, if you need some help, other expert also there, you can just have a chat. But you have the capability, or you are at least interested to work in a team environment. I think those things pretty much important in industry.
Yeah. Well, that's really fantastic, like
Yeah.
reflection to know that in the interview they were really asking you to comment and sh demonstrate
Yeah.
those teamwork skills beyond, I guess your documented, a
Yeah.
technical expertise.
Yeah, just want to add like one thing, like, because I feel like those who are doing PhD, and they have huge technical skill, no doubt about it. So whatever they know is more than enough. I think the other aspects should to be explored, I think.
Great. And then on the flip side, when you moved from academia into industry, did anything really surprise you about how things work, or was there a brand new skill set that you had to develop?
Yeah, maybe again repetitive. Yeah, surprises. I'll say. That one I told, like, I never realized that, like, those interpersonal skill, or like I told, like,
Mm.
ethical privacy, and the other aspect, like, de all the, like,
Mm.
all the project associated stuff, like project management skill, maybe I'll say
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
I honestly, I was never aware that those are that much important things. But I think when I go join I feel like I surprises basically. Oh, these are the pretty much important. I not really okay. So yeah,
Mm.
I think that's the I think yeah. And anything else like yeah, other thing is pretty much okay for me. I think those things. Yeah.
Mm. And now that you've been a few months into industry and you've left academia largely, are there things that we had in academia that you now miss or that you realize don't, occur in industry?
Definitely I miss because I had a long, academic career. So yeah, but what I miss, if I be precise, like okay, in scientific way, I think academia gives you more freedom to scientifically follow your instincts, like what you want to explore. If it is interest for you, you can go and just explore. But in industry, not always happen that because you have a final target, you have an end goal. So I think that's I miss in terms of scientific things. Other way, I think definitely interacting with researcher student. Those are because I like bit of lecturing in the class, so those things I'm missing a bit. And one of the other thing I'll say, like university give lot of opportunity to learn very diverse thing. Very diverse means very like technically and scientifically. Like in your department, maybe a diverse type of seminar happening. That's totally new to you, and you are just going. So those things bit less in industry.
Mm.
Definitely, we also have seminar everything, but not frequent, not like yeah, so when you are academy, I think you really aware of like how the overall research field progressing, state of the art. So I think university gave the lot of opportunity to learn new interest, new skill. I think that I miss a bit, I think.
Oh, interesting. So your work is diverse, but I'm sort of reflecting on in academia through your department or your school, you might get exposed to all different areas of
Yeah, so,
research.
so
Yeah.
basically, suppose you went to some random seminar and if so it's interest, you can slowly start learning. But here is less likely that that will happen.
Okay. So you're a bit more focused on your
Most,
projects
yeah.
and
So
deliverables. Yeah.
maybe next project what I'll handle there, maybe I'll get some scope to learn new things. But in that way, but it's not like okay, in openly you will have an option to learn. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much important.
That's a really fantastic reflection and helps us reflect on what might be unique about academia.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think if you really want to learn a lot, I think university environment is really good. And yeah, in that aspect, I enjoy
Mm.
like you
And
know
so when you mentioned as well that, in your current role, people do attend things like conferences, is that sort of the same way as you would attend a conference as an academic? Because I'm used to, for example, doing a poster or doing a talk on maybe
e-
like a new project that's coming out. But in industry, I imagine there could be some different ways of looking at it, like whether things that are more that can't be shared yet or proprietary. Do you have any comments about that?
Yeah, means the overall structure is quite similar, but definitely, so how I'll say, like, in a scientific conference, normally we present our individual like paper or some core idea, scientific idea. But I feel like the similar thing, but here more like maybe the product oriented or bigger project
Hmm.
oriented, not like a just small scientific idea. It's like how those things. So I think because there those conferences attend for, like, suppose for my cases, many doctors. So if you show a really scientific innovation, but if they're not really understanding how they can use those things for you also clean. So So I think those aspect bit different. I think
Yes,
more
yes.
like transferable or usable skill. Like I think those type of.
Mm. I think in
But other,
many, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and but you also like we also open to go to the general scientific conference. So that's also normally we submit some abstract. So they are, yeah. So that's also okay. So then same, but we have
Mm.
some conference which is more like how will say inclusive for industry type of settings.
Right. And academics may not be part of those same
Yeah,
networks
no,
necessarily.
actually, the industry good thing is they really encourage. Actually, they invited a lot of
Okay.
nice academician because they have a really nice vision. So we do, but mostly like industry people. So it's a bit,
Mm.
yeah,
And you're finding that the focus of attending those conferences is to really kind of showcase the product and showcase those tangible applications.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm. Fantastic. We do have something in the chat which maybe all of us might be able to chip into. Thank you so much for your question. I think they're asking for some specific advice. So I'll just read out what this person
Mm-hmm,
has said. So, can I have your suggestion on this? For example, I'm doing a PhD in cognitive neuroscience and
mm-hmm,
also neuroimaging brainwaves EEG, but I'm very bad with analytical skills, for example, computational modeling, but I'm very
mm-hmm,
into psychology from a psychology background. And in
mm-hmm,
this case, what would you encourage me to develop to increase the chance of getting a role outside academia? All right, so there's a few things here. So I think the person is saying that in their current role, they
mm-hmm,
don't really they find that their strengths are not in the analytical or maybe modeling skills, but
mm-hmm.
have a psychology background. So I think from what you've said, Soman, there is a lot of scope to really show your other skills outside technical skills, like how you've worked in teams, because it sounds like in industry they'll be really looking at those, and they may not need specific technical skills
Yeah,
from an
yeah,
individual.
yeah. I think maybe they can do really great job in industry or outside academia because yeah, they are like not necessarily you have to spend a lot of time whatever you are not really want or not really skillful, but
Hmm.
whatever skill you have, they will give you huge opportunity to explore those and So I think maybe they can try, you know. Yeah.
Mm.
Any
And
specifically you want to ask or?
I think thinking about in maybe in your interview and how you really promoted your team skills, were there anything in particular that you were able to reflect on? So you would have worked within a lab environment and in
Mm-hmm.
teams, but were there any things that you think made you stand out in terms of really showing your interpersonal and team skills? How did you really show that to them in the interview?
I think that's a good question. I think, yeah, during the interview, how you gonna show you are saying, right? I
Hmm.
think during the interview, I don't know. I think it's kind of retrospective, like during the interview, mostly suppose for this, they normally ask what I did basically.
Hmm.
Most of the time they try to see like which type of environment I have, exposure, work. I think with that and just with they will ask few questions that I don't think important, that much important, rather than the experience they want to see. Like, at least if you see like, okay, you tried with, at least you write a paper with, 5 people and that people, everyone is contributed. If you can show that one, that's pretty much important.
Mm.
You understand? So if you, so those type of things, I think, yeah, important, other than the technical. Definitely technical ability, they will see like what type of things you achieve and, but yeah, I think collaborative things is not like, if I say like, oh, I'm very collaborative in nature, it's not that useful, I think. Yeah.
Mm. And I think they were interested as well. I think this is about how you actually found the job. So was when you with this IMED Rail Network job, is that a job that you found out through some channels, or did somebody recommend you, or how did you actually
No,
find this
no,
opportunity?
I really don't have any connection with iMed before. I just saw the advertisement in Seek, I think, and and I also not never apply any random position. Like I feel like, okay, these are the things I can really do well. And when I saw the advertisement, if you remember, if you seen any time the job ad, they normally give the skill, what type of expectation, what skill set. And when I read those, actually I feel like all the things I have experienced. So yeah, I write and when you write a cover letter, I think that's important actually, because that's how they shortlisted. So that time, I know sometimes it's very hard to, if you applying for 10 jobs, to write individual cover letter or the response to the essential and desirable questions. But I think it's bit important, at least try to show the experience against those things. I think experiences matter a lot. Like suppose ask, okay, you have the team experience, whatever I say, you say, okay, maybe I did these projects and publish here. This is like 3 different team or 5 different people you are. This type of explanation, I think they understand that at least the applicant has that idea that what actually is mean. So I
Hmm.
think those type of, yeah. But for me, like, yeah, I just got the advertisement, and I feel like and even when I got the interview, whatever point they ask, yeah, I feel like all the things I have experienced before.
Hmm.
So
So it's a
that,
really good fit, yeah, for you
yeah,
and your interest and your skill set.
yeah. Not
And
necessarily you have to be expertise, but at least you have some idea. I
some
think,
idea of
yeah,
that. Hmm.
yeah,
And it's about showing that concrete evidence of what you actually did
yeah.
rather
I
than
think
just
those,
saying, I'm a good team player. What
yeah,
have you done
yeah.
to be in a
Experience
team?
matter a lot. If you connect with your experience, I think is really great.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if Helena and I could also chip into this as well about how to, I think the questions about how to really show teamwork skills in academia. I know, for example, there can be opportunities to join committees um, as well, which I think can demonstrate teamwork, like we work together to put on a seminar or something like that. Helena, do you have any other sort of tips around that from your experience?
Um, well, I think in the Q&A in the chat box here, the person's asking about how to show the teamwork. Maybe this is a PhD student thinking about instead of going to the academia, but go to like the industry. So I guess if you're still a PhD student, there are not many committees that you can join. Like you are not going to join the teaching and learning committee,
Mhm.
and if you can get into the ethics committee as a non-expert, that would be one way to do it. But I guess there are still many ways. For example, if you're working in a lab and in the lab is more than one PhD student, and you can showcase how you work with each other, and you may also have undergraduate research assistants, and you can showcase how you manage a team of RAs as a PhD student, then also work with your boss, your PhD supervisor. So I think this is the way that in my own experience, how in the interviews I showcase when I was still just freshly graduated with my PhD and say how I can work in a team. I guess there are in my experience in a team, it means there are different roles. And as I mentioned, if you're the PhD student, you may have people under you for your supervision, say the RAs, and you also have to report back to your PhD supervisor. And I guess that's my experience.
Yeah.
Great. I think it's really a great reflection today. One of the themes was knowing that there are so many skills that we build in academia that are really valued in industry that might not necessarily focus on the technical skills. Because if I understand correctly, Soman, if there's, because you've moved from brain imaging to lung imaging, so there might have been some training that you received to familiarize yourself with that, topic area, because obviously there's different parameters and different things.
Yeah, that's actually the important things I also want to highlight. Like that you can adapt domain knowledge, that you have to show that you are prompt and you're keen to do that, I think. Because Yeah, it's totally anatomically, if you see, it's totally different, right? Brain and so but still work because you have the other skill set. Like suppose you know how to handle the imaging data, you know the
Mm,
other stuff. So those actually really helpful.
mm. A question's popped up about what other skills are essential on top of team working for roles out. Yeah, I think you've reflected, Soman, on, I guess, those project management skills, being able to work to the deadlines and to be able to, I guess, communicate with the right people to get things done. So I
Yeah,
think reflecting on what you said, that's a pretty important skill because you have
yeah.
really that emphasis on the deliverables and the timelines.
Yeah, just like one more thing I want to like you should have a really good like I feel like that's important. People really want to see that kind of how I'll say like project is part of the documentation I'll say, but is always good to have a very nice way of keeping the records how you are working. Those really useful even for yourself and as well as for everyone, and
Mm.
because that's really speed up the project and very easy to connect with any part if you want. So I think in industry people have a good practice on that, but I think
Mm. So
but
really
PhD
good,
student
yeah.
also do. So PhD student also do. So, but I
Yeah.
think so. So that's the thing. Like, so during the interview, you need to emphasize those, explain those things. Like, okay, I do sort of five different experiment, but how I handle those, how I maintain. So I think those type of things really useful for a,
Mm.
you know,
So maintaining accurate and really
yeah,
effective
yeah,
records so that the teams,
yeah.
anyone else can pick up your work and know where it's at.
Yeah, so like before my PhD, like I had before my PhD, actually I had 3 years of research experience post master. But when I started my PhD, I first I realized one problem. I think that maybe many people will agree. So normally what I say, we used to solve a more scientific problem, right? So more focused on that. But when I started my PhD, it's like, oh, maybe like I have a patient appointment from 10 to 11, and after that maybe I have 2 hour gap, and maybe 2 to 3 I have a MRI scan, patient is coming. So how your brain is capable to switch between the job, that's pretty much important. I
Okay,
think
and you've
so.
got, yeah, and
I struggle a lot, honestly. I struggle a lot, but yeah, that's helped me in my PhD to learn those skills.
mm, because as we've seen in your role, you might be picking up different things, connecting on your
Yeah,
expertise to one project, but then
yeah,
working on a separate project. So having
yeah,
that switching and keeping track of where you are,
yeah.
I guess, in different things. There was another question about, I guess, the record keeping. In your experience, is it timeline or task clustered, or what kind of system are you using for your record keeping?
Normally, I use just Word document, but how I do normally, I so all the time I try to maintain a like timeline kind of chart, and
Mhm.
each day wise how reflecting. So you can see many nice template even in the Word if you see, but whatever is suits for you. But I think those are important day-to-day basis, keep all the record, and the overall project how it's moving, that's me, because that's help you to visualize, and
Mm,
that's help you to keep track of different parties, different stakeholder. So
mm.
I
Do you
think
have, yeah. Do you have particular software that's provided to
I
help track that, or you use your own?
many softwares are there, but I don't use any software, honestly. I just yeah. So
You've
you
got a
can use,
system, yeah.
yeah, you can use many things like I do bit but not huge, Notion.
Yep.
Yeah, so Notion is one of the best thing, but you can have the Microsoft, it's called Microsoft, I forget the name. I
Yeah, there's a,
take
like a
because of
project
that
management
also,
one.
yeah. But now mostly I do for overall myself, I use the Notion, but for my job, industry job particularly, I just purely Word document, and I just make, the template I want to do, I change those way.
Oh, thank you. Well, we've been sort of taking the questions as we go, but there might be room for one or two more questions if anyone wants to ask anything else. And then we'll wrap ourselves up for the session. So. just pop in the chat if there's anything else you wanted to ask. Right. I don't think there is. So Helena, I'll hand back over to you to wrap us up for
Yeah, thank you.
taking.
Yeah, thank you, Louisa, and thank you, Suman. Well, we have a very valuable conversation on jobs outside bubble today. And on behalf of everyone here, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to our panelist, Suman, for sharing your time, expertise, experience, and also valuable perspectives with us. Your thoughtful insights and willingness to share your experiences have greatly enriched today's session. We truly appreciate your openness in addressing our questions and also contributing to such a meaningful conversation on jobs outside academia. And thank you once again for your generosity and commitment. And please join me from the audience in giving Suman a well-deserved round of applause. And thank you again.
Thank you very much. I'm
And
really glad that I got a chance to share the experience.
thank you so much. And thank you all for joining. As Helena said, I'm sure this has been a very valuable experience for a lot of us who have joined that are currently in academia, whether PhD students or postdoctoral researchers or research fellows or any other roles. This has been a fantastic insight into that transition from the inside the bubble to outside. Thanks again, and we will love to connect with all of you as the EMCR Brain Science Network. So please feel free to visit our website, and there's also an opportunity to sign up for our mailing list and also connect with us on LinkedIn. As part of our ongoing activities, we will continue to run these Jobs Outside the Bubble webinars. So please keep an eye out on our channels where we'll announce the next event. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.